Missouri's governor announces an end to the COVID-19 pandemic in the Show Me State. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with what the transition to an endemic status could look like.
President Biden announcing a plan to lower prices at the pump, releasing 1 million barrels of oil a day. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. I'll have the details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Joplin police say a missing persons case is now a homicide investigation. Authorities aren't releasing names yet, but say they found the body of a missing person in a home while investigating. And that home was at 2201 South Jackson. Police also say they're looking for a person of interest. Authorities are not releasing any more information at this time. Doug Kenny joining us now. I know you forecasted it, but still, what gives? Snow today? What are you going to do?
I mean, it's last day of March, so tomorrow's April Fool's. Mother Nature was just off by a day. But yeah, cold day, 40, 34, average high is 65 degrees for this time of the year. All the snow, rain showers out of here. In fact, the clouds have broken up, so we have clear skies now. What that's going to do is allow our temperatures to really drop off tonight. This big patch of nothing, that is our weather tomorrow. Then we got to deal with that. So, of course, we're going to break down the next week for you here in just a bit.
Doug, thanks so much as always. Missouri's governor yesterday announced that the state will begin its transition from pandemic to endemic starting tomorrow. KOM's Bronte Sorotsky breaks down what an endemic is going to look like and how one local health department says they'll be affected.
The COVID-19 crisis is over here in the state of Missouri.
Those were the words of Governor Mike Parson as he announced that the COVID pandemic is to begin to move to an endemic on Friday. An endemic means a disease is always present but predictable, like the flu. Moving to an endemic will mean the state's COVID dashboard will be updated weekly instead of daily, and services such as contact tracing will end. In Newton County, they plan to make a few changes.
We're still going to try to gather information as to how many new cases we have per day and try to determine how many active cases we may have at any given time. But we're not going to do so much of the contact tracing, and now it'll give us time to actually go and get our records together and organize those records and file them so that we'll have easy access in the future.
Usually, this board is full of numbers and charts detailing COVID cases throughout the county. But with how low cases are right now, there's not much need for it.
So when you don't see the hospitalization and you don't see the severity of disease, then it becomes just like other things that we manage, like the flu and other diseases that we know it's there.
Nurses with the health department say they let out a sigh of relief when hearing Missouri has reached this point.
It's like we're finally, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's gone on for a long time.
There was also reflection on the uncertainty and fear that comes with a pandemic.
There was really no rhyme or reason as to who it was going to affect poorly and who was going to be fine. It just affected everyone differently and nobody knew why or how.
But mainly a message that whatever the future brings, local health agencies like the health department are ready to step in. In Neosho, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
While Governor Parson said there could be future variants or spikes in cases, the state and health departments are going to respond to those as needed. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly today announced that state will also be moving to an endemic response to COVID. Starting tomorrow, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment is going to work with local health departments on their endemic plan. It's going to include changes like moving treatment options from public health entities back to healthcare providers and reducing public case reporting to once a week. Officials say they're going to be ready to alter their response should cases rise again. 0. That is a number of COVID-19 patients currently at Ascension Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh. As KOM's Chris Warner explains, it's been a long 25 months for the staff getting to this point.
This was once the isolated COVID ward at Ascension Via Christi. It was once taped off, completely separated from the rest of the hospital. In November of last year, the plastic came down as the need for the special COVID ward wore off.
It was very enlightening and uplifting to be able to take the red tape off the floor and to be able to open things back up, and you just could feel like a collective sigh from staff to just relieved that maybe the end was in sight.
While the COVID ward is technically closed, Via Christi's Director of Inpatient Services, Janelle Wade, says that doesn't mean the hospital can't still take COVID patients.
We are always prepared to take our COVID patients. We could do another surge, not that we want to, but we could. All of our rooms are still easily, we can put patients in them and we can stand up a ward in just a matter of hours. So we can do it. We've done it a couple different times, and unfortunately we've gotten pretty good at it, so we can do it. We just hope we don't have to.
With the governor's announcement Thursday that the state would begin the transition to an endemic state, Wade says it brightens the light at the end of the tunnel.
We're ready to move forward and consider, one of the many diseases that patients are hospitalized with. We deal with the flu every year. We deal with heart attacks. So we are ready to have COVID be just yet another disease that every once in a while we have to deal with.
In Pittsburgh, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
As Wade mentioned, Via Christi still has rooms prepped for COVID-19 patients, and at this time, masking is still required while inside the hospital. President Biden announcing today the release of 1 million barrels of oil per day for the next 6 months for the nation's strategic petroleum reserve. It's the latest effort by the administration to try to lower those prices at the pump. The decision coming, though, with criticism, as some argue it doesn't solve the fundamental issues for rising prices. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has a closer look now from Washington.
I know gas prices are painful. I get it. My plan's going to help ease that pain today.
President Biden announced he will release 1 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserve per day for the next 6 months.
It's over 180 million barrels.
The U.S. uses about 21 million barrels of oil daily, so in total, the president's oil release totals less than 9 days' worth. And on average, Americans are paying $4.22 for a gallon of gas.
Putin's price hike is hitting Americans at the pump.
The reserve is supposed to exist for giant unforeseen crises. It's not there so that anti-energy politicians whose policies have raised gas prices can try to hide that from the public.
The president also announced his administration will impose penalties on oil and gas companies that lease federal lands but are not producing energy.
It's a Band-Aid, but it's a good step forward.
The administration has blamed the war in Ukraine and corporate greed for sky-high prices.
This is the time, not the time to sit on record profits.
But Republicans say it's because of hostile policies by the administration toward oil producers and early administration moves to cut off pipeline projects.
I watched him sign the shutdown of the XL pipeline. It's foolish, the direction they've been going.
Next week, executives from 6 of the largest oil companies will testify to Congress about gas prices, why they're high, and how to bring them down. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
NATO saying Russia is repositioning its troops, most likely to reinforce efforts in eastern Ukraine, casting a shadow on the chances of reaching a solution to end this war. The warning coming as Russia agrees to a temporary ceasefire to allow civilians to evacuate. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has this report from Washington.
As the fighting rages on in Ukraine, nothing is off limits, including this school outside of Kyiv, children's artwork scattered among shattered glass. Still, Ukrainian forces are pushing back, intent on reclaiming territory from Russian troops. U.S. officials say Russia has been pounding the contested Donbas region in eastern Ukraine with airstrikes. President Biden also doubts Russia is scaling back troops around Kyiv.
There is no clear evidence that he's pulling all of his forces out of Kyiv. There is also evidence that he is beefing up his troops down in the Donbas area.
And this following reports President Putin has not been getting the full picture of his military's failures from his inner circle.
He seems to be self-isolated, and there's some indication that he has fired or put under house arrest some of his advisors.
Putin is still trying to play hardball, demanding payment for natural gas in rubles from, quote, unfriendly countries.
Nobody sells anything for free to us, and we also won't engage in charity.
Some, like France, Italy, and Germany, say they won't do it.
The contracts are based on euro, and so we will continue to pay for energy imports in euro.
The U.S. is playing its own game of hardball, imposing fresh sanctions aimed at Russia's technology sector. In Washington, Mather Rivera, Fox News.
KOM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Charles Price served in the U.S. Army from 1942 to 45. Native of Lamar, Missouri, Price was stationed in France. He earned several awards, including the Bronze Star. And we are proud to thank and salute Staff Sergeant Charles Price. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast. And a bit later, those Joplin Eagles opening conference play at home against Neosho. Highlights and post-game reaction in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a cold day for us today. Temperatures struggled to warm up as we only went right around 40 for highs. We are going to warm up quite a bit more tomorrow. Friday is going to be a good day, but thunderstorm chances roll in once again for us tomorrow night. But majority of the weekend looks pretty good, even though we're going to get more storms late Sunday. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOMNewsNow.com. Look at our temps over the past 36 hours. Very consistent. Upper 30s to lower 40s, and that's pretty much where we are sitting right now. Temperatures are mainly low to mid 30s. The clouds have broken, so we're going to drop back upper 20s to near 30 degrees as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. We have these light northerly winds, northwesterly winds kind of kicking in and then switching to the south, and that's going to help us warm up a little bit more as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Currently outside sitting at 33. Dew points at 27, so that will rise a little bit. Temperature will drop a little bit. We'll meet in the middle. All the clouds, all the snow we had earlier has rotated out of here. The clouds are broken, so we look fine. We have clear skies out there right now, and that's what we're going to see as we go through the rest of the overnight hours tonight. Clear skies, that's what we get tomorrow. And then our next storm system, this wave moving into the Rockies, will start to affect us by the time we head into tomorrow night, and then lasting in the very early morning hours on Saturday. All right, let's go through time. Temps, upper 20s, lower 30s. As we go through the daytime hours for us tomorrow, we are going to warm up mid 60s by the afternoon. We'll start to get some mid and upper level clouds in here by the afternoon, but in general, a pretty good day. 58 by noon, high temp is 64. Tomorrow night, clouds thicken, especially after about 8 or 9 p.m. Scattered showers, even around a thunderstorms roll in after midnight tomorrow night. These shouldn't be too strong. They should not be severe, so I'm not worried about that. And then they're out of here by the time we head into Saturday morning. So Saturday afternoon looks pretty good as we bounce back into the mid 60s for highs. We're going to press 70 on Sunday, but more thunderstorms by evening into the overnight hours. These could be a little bit stronger, but I think anything severe will stay down across central parts of Oklahoma. And then just rain on Monday. Periods of rain Monday night. Should be out of here Tuesday morning. Another weak little wave on Wednesday, giving us a few showers. And then again, some cold showers by the time we head into Thursday. So a lot of chances for rain over the next week or so. 64 tomorrow, 65 Saturday, 71 on Sunday, holding into the 60s most of next week, but all those chances for showers and thunderstorms.
Yeah, what a crazy day.
Yeah, it was.
Like you said, April Fool's
just a day early.
Just a day early, yeah. Doug Heddy, thanks so much. Heads up here, Easter chocolate cookie kits are being pulled from Walmart shelves because of allergy concerns. Wilton Industries Inc.'s ready-to-build chocolate cookie bunny hatch kit is being recalled. The product sold at Walmart stores throughout the country. They pose an allergy risk, of course, for not marking contains milk on the labeling. The ingredients list does include skim milk powder, but no other required note of the dairy ingredient is listed as required. Customers who have a milk allergy, of course, are being urged to not consume the product. Thankfully, no allergic reactions have been reported. Coming up, severe weather in the south.
Severe storms move east as people across the south survey all the damage, and even crazier weather continues. Snow here in Springdale, Arkansas. I'm Robert Ray with the details coming up
on Fox.
People across the South continue to clean up after severe weather moved through Wednesday into today. The system should exit off the East Coast by tomorrow. Fox Weather's Robert Ray has more.
A tornado touching down in the Florida Panhandle early Thursday, killing at least 2 people and injuring several more. The Washington County Sheriff's Office says the high winds downed power lines and destroyed several homes. The twister was part of a line of severe weather making its way east. Across the South and Midwest, around 185,000 people were without power in the wake of the storm.
I was asleep.
In Alabama, a tornado tore the roof off this home. The high winds waking up the homeowners in the middle of the night. Daylight revealing the full extent of the damage.
I heard this boom, and it was just it seemed like the house just shook. It didn't dawn on me that all this damage was like this until this morning.
In Louisiana, strong wind gusts overturned semi-trailers. A downed tree just missed this man's house and instead took out the back porch.
My bedroom window busted, and I went to look out the laundry window. It busted, and then I started panicking, looking for my dog.
It's just devastating. I mean, I have no words, you know.
Much of this region was already in the middle of cleaning up from last week's round of storms. In central Texas, FEMA has been on the ground assessing the damage.
If there is a need for federal support, and that is validated by both the state of Texas and by the White House, then we will be here in the long run to support.
FEMA says it will take days to verify all of this tornado damage. In Springdale, Arkansas, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
Still ahead, just having enough.
Employee burnout posing a threat to companies. I'm Cheryl Cassoni with Fox Business. Coming up, why so many workers are resigning and what employers can do to win them back.
At 7 a.m.
Legalized marijuana moving 2 different directions, okay, with fewer companies in general, fewer companies testing, but more test results showing up positive. Quest Diagnostics, Inc. says fewer companies are testing their employees for THC, the main active ingredient in marijuana responsible for its effects. Yet the percentage of Americans testing positive for drugs, particularly for marijuana, hit a 2-decade high last year. Quest screened 6 million urine tests for marijuana last year, and about 4% came back positive. That figure is up 50% since 2017. Worker burnout. As companies return to the office, employees are taking on the workloads of those who took part in the Great Resignation, as it's being known. Fox Business Network's Cheryl Cassoni takes a look at what employers need to do to win them back.
Overworked and exhausted. A new study finds nearly 40% of workers feel burned out by their jobs, with 35% of men and 42% of women saying they are running on empty while on the job. While millions of employees are quitting on principle and for pay increases, millions more are being spread thin at jobs they either love or are too afraid to leave. It's called the hidden resignation, and it's already found its way into businesses everywhere.
There is a great race to fill the spots of those who have left, and until then, leaders, managers, and of course the people that are still there are the ones that are trying to fix this. It's like an emergency room non-stop.
The study also finds about 60% of couples who both work say they are burned out, with 63% of men and 81% of women exhausted by the demands of work and home.
Where they're both in jobs, and so one of them will have a primary focus and responsibility at home, and that's adding to the stress.
Traditional benefits and raises aren't enough anymore to keep workers from jumping ship. Job experts say employees need to know you care.
We've got to start individualizing the benefits. People want to know that they're seen, which means you know what's going on with me and you're willing to help me. That is a huge strategy going forward to engagement, which will lead to retention.
With the labor shortage not going away anytime soon, labor watchers say companies are going to have to be more versatile and start training for multiple disciplines.
Remember, this is a game, and so it's a competition, and so you've got to attract people. If you attract people and then you retain people, you will win. While there will be a shortage for some companies, you can actually beat the competition. You help an employee not just make a paycheck, but win with that paycheck. Watch out.
Cheryl Cassoni, Fox Business.
Next, why some pilots and boat captains may have had recently a bit of a harder time communicating.
Drive.
So NASA reporting a massive solar flare erupted from the sun yesterday afternoon. The burst was powerful enough to cause a short-wave radio blackout in some areas. That means some airplane pilots, boat captains, and ham radio operators may have noticed the disturbance. NASA classifies the event as an X-class flare. More powerful solar flares can pose dangers to satellites, power lines, even astronauts in space. There is a chance the flare could cause an aurora, a stunning light show in the sky, but no confirmation of that just yet. We're going to be okay, all right? We're all good, I think. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Going to hear how some nurses are raising awareness of sexual assault. Plus, why hundreds of school workers visited Joplin's North Middle School today.
April is...
Tomorrow marks the beginning of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so today sexual assault nurse examiners at Freeman Health System putting out some facts and prevention tips. They say data shows rape and sexual assault are the most underreported crimes here in the U.S. The nurses also brought up the importance of consent using the acronym FRIES, which stands for freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, and specific.
Forth, and even after there's been an incident of a sexual assault, sometimes the perpetrator will text and try to dissuade them or talk, make excuses, or so the texting thing is also a factor.
The theme for this year's Sexual Assault Awareness Month is building safe online spaces together. Some musicians warming up over at the First United Methodist Church in Joplin. They were earlier today anyway, getting ready for a special fundraiser this Saturday. It's for the Solace House of the Ozarks, an end-of-life care home for people on hospice who can't stay in their own homes. The organization is only funded by donations, grants, also those fundraisers.
Featuring area local musicians, and followed by an art show in the same building of the collection of Tal Krim, who's collected all of his life. This is the first time he's shown his entire collection.
Fundraiser for the Solace House is this Saturday at 2 p.m. at the First United Methodist Church in Joplin, located at 4th and Byers. Local law enforcement agencies have been through a lot over the past month, right? So a local business wanted to show its appreciation. Black Rain Ordnance out of Neosho, the Flower Box City, hosted a Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. 9 different local law enforcement agencies came out for the event, where they received a tour of the facilities, met the Black Rain staff, also tested out some of the products.
The law enforcement community are oath keepers, and we feel like a lot of us have served before, a lot of us are still law enforcement, things like that. Inside Black Rain Ordnance is the company. The founders of the company have their roots in law enforcement and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things that we wanted to take the opportunity to really showcase our appreciation.
The law enforcement agencies were also treated to a free lunch today. All right, a strawberry milk campaign lands a local student in a national publication. 4th grader Esteban Perez at Anderson Elementary led a campaign last fall to bring back strawberry milk at lunchtime. It's important stuff, people. And that campaign worked. Not too long after, Scholastic news editors heard of his success, decided to feature him. Today, Esteban's class got to read the article. They also learned that their efforts, how cool is this, inspired a California student to protest for the return of chocolate milk at his school. 4th graders learned how one act done the right way can make a huge difference.
If you give them the tools, they can do anything, and that they can understand adult topics like petitions.
The student in California was featured in a Washington Post article, which also mentioned the McDonald County students' efforts as an inspiration. Good job, buddy. Good job. More than 400 school administrators, teachers, school board members, community members from area school districts visited Joplin's North Middle School today. It was part of the 23rd annual Celebration of Schools. Recognition and special awards were given to honor the accomplishments of area educators and supporters.
We are celebrating the staff and the schools and what the teachers in the schools have been able to accomplish in this area, just celebrating the things that they have been able to do, the things that they're doing for the students in this area.
State and federal legislators also attended today's Celebration of Schools event. Local business today made a donation to the Ronald McDonald House Charities of 4 states. Over the past few weeks, Alorica employees have been collecting items needed by the charity, things like food and household supplies. Today, they made a trip to the Ronald McDonald House in Joplin to drop off all those items.
They do just a wonderful service to the community by housing families that have sick children in both Freeman and Mercy hospitals, and that includes them being able to stay and also eat for free. And when you have a sick kid in the hospital, the last thing you want to worry about are those things.
Alorica hosted a competition as part of their collection drive. The team of employees who collected the most items won a trophy, also a swag bag. Pittsburgh High School freshmen had the chance to learn hands-on what it's like to be an adult, living in the real world on their own. Several community volunteers set up booths for students to go around to see if they can budget expenses ranging from housing, baking, childcare, groceries, and more.
Just hoping this gives students an idea of what it's like to live in the real life with real life expenses, and you have your own credit score and children and daycare, and just give them a experience on what it's like to get out there in the real world.
Around 270 freshmen and 14 booths were at this event. And a bit later, some new tech toys for the U.S. Postal Service.
It's not your parents' post office. America's oldest institution is getting its new digital makeover for the post-pandemic era. I'm Eben Brown in Miami. I'll have that story straight ahead.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a dreary day for us today, and we had on and off snow showers throughout the daytime hours. Temperatures were sitting about 41 degrees. About 38 to about 41 with the snow shower. So, of course, we didn't have to worry about anything sticking, but we had some big, fat, wet snowflakes out there. Tomorrow looks pretty good. Thunderstorms back in tomorrow night. Most of the weekend pretty good. Thunderstorms back in late Sunday. You can get my long range, my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Look at our temps. Past 36 hours, it's been cold. Mainly upper 30s to lower 40s. It's going to be cold tonight. Temperatures are going to continue to drop back. Most of us are hovering above freezing into the mid-30s with kind of a northwesterly wind all day long. The winds are starting to crank back out of the south, and what that's actually going to do for us is help our temperatures warm up as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Outside right now, clear skies. Up top, currently sitting at 33. We now have a southwesterly wind, which is going to keep those temperatures up just a little bit. We're going to have a freeze, 78% humidity. So if you do already have some plants outside, you may bring them in or cover them up as we get a little bit deeper into the spring. Look at the snow, the bands of snow rotating through earlier today. Actually came down at a pretty good clip in spots for a while. We have the clouds throughout the evening hours. The clouds have broke over the past couple hours. So we have clear skies now. And if we look out toward the west, there's not a lot going on here. So this is our weather tomorrow, and then you can start to see our next storm system building out across the central parts of the Rockies, and that will start to affect us by tomorrow night. But at least we get a good Friday. All right, cold by the morning, kind of hovering just below freezing. We'll have a few spots that drop into the 20s. We'll warm into the mid-60s tomorrow. We're going to have plenty of sunshine during the morning. Mid and upper level clouds increase during the afternoon. 31 to start, 58 by noon. High temp right around 64. We're going to have south winds 5 to 10. Clouds increase tomorrow evening, and then after about 8 or 9 o'clock, we'll start to get some scattered showers in here, and especially late evening into the overnight hours, bands of showers, even some thunderstorms. Nothing too strong, nothing severe, but we are going to have at least a few thunderstorms out there. And then this is gone by Saturday morning. We'll have some clouds, and then we'll break out and we'll see mostly sunny skies, and then we have a pretty good weekend. Mid-60s once again by the time we head into Saturday afternoon. As we go into Sunday, most of the day looks good, but again, thunderstorms work right back in by the time we head into Sunday evening, and then just showers, thunderstorms Sunday night, and then rain on Monday. So it does stay decently wet over the next week. 64 tomorrow, 65 on Saturday, 71 on Sunday, 62 on Monday. We kind of hold into the mid-60s most of next week.
As you said, that snow was coming down pretty good earlier.
It was.
It makes you wonder, though, if it wasn't so warm.
Oh, it would have stuck.
Yeah, accumulation.
Yeah, we would have got a couple inches. Yeah.
Isn't that something? All right, Doug, thanks so much, man. Coming up in sports now, Joplin and Neosho square off to open COC League play. Plus, Pitt State Disc Golf Club team aiming for a national championship next week in North Carolina. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
Fox.
Well, the Joplin Eagles are off to a bit of a slow start this baseball season. The Eagles are 3-5 in their first 8 games, but last time out they picked up a big early season win, handing McDonald County just their second loss of the spring. Now tonight, Joplin has a shot at another red-hot team, hosting the 5-1 Neosho Wildcats in their COC League opener. A big third inning for the Eagles. Bases loaded for Tyler Schumann. That's a single, and 2 Eagles score. Then a few batters later, Bodie Carlson hits it into the shortstop. Byler Reether scores to make it 7-0. Carlson would be safe at first. Now still pouring it on. Brady Males gets one out to left. That plates another run. 8 total runs for Joplin in the inning. They stay hot in the 4th. Carlson finds some grass in right field. Landon Maples rounds third. He scoots into home. Joplin caps off a strong week, shutting out Neosho 16-0.
Just offensively, I think it was just stringing together a lot of good at-bats and again, working as a lineup and not just as an individual at the plate. We talked early in the week that we need to get on a roll a little bit here and start feeling good about ourselves and some of the things that we can do. And I thought we played well Tuesday against a good McDonald County team, and these guys have been playing really well. For us to come out and find a way to do what we did today was really big.
The Frontenac Raiders aiming for a 2-0 start in an interstate matchup with Carl Junction this evening. That one is over. It's Frontenac topping the Bulldogs this evening 6-2. The Columbus High School softball team is off to a 2-0 start this season. The Titans have picked up road wins against College Heights and Labette County in their first 2 games. Tonight, Columbus faces Labette County again, this time in Columbus for their home opener. Then the first, Gracie Major gets it through the right side. Aubrey Saporito scores. Titans lead at 1-0 after the first. Out in the circle, Lily Mooney, another solid start. Strikeout there, but Columbus did big-time damage in the bottom of the second. Lexi Stone leads off the inning. Dead center, off the Ford for the solo home run. Later in the same inning, Jalen Rodriguez up the middle. Addie Saporito comes home. Finally, Aubrey Saporito drops it into center there to bring Rodriguez home. 6 runs for the Titans in the second to go up 7-0. Titans get a shutout and get to 3-0, winning 10-0. Pittsburgh State has a chance to bring home a national championship next week. The PSU Club Disc Golf team will head to North Carolina next week to compete in the college national championships. Now, there are about 15 active members on the club team. 4 of them qualified for nationals by winning the Golden Eagle Collegiate Tournament in Nashville earlier this month. Now, it gets even cooler. The guys formed this team just last year, so it's their second season competing, and they already have a shot at a national championship.
We have always known that we're good enough to go and play at the national level. It was more so like, can we find a tournament for us to qualify at, because there's not a whole lot of tournaments near us, so we decided we were going to have to make the sacrifice and drive 10 hours away to go play the tournament, but it felt pretty good finally proving to ourselves that we could do it.
Now, the team is currently raising money to help offset the cost of traveling and competing in the national championships. If you want to help out, we've put a link in this story on the sports page at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now, that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
U.S. Postal Service is one of America's oldest institutions, but now it's working to remain profitable and relevant in this post-pandemic world. Fox's Eben Brown has more in this edition of our Fox on Tech series.
The American colonists relied on Benjamin Franklin to maintain America's first postal system, but now it's time for a digital makeover. The U.S. Postal Service has spent years and money upgrading its equipment and its operations, and now it's ready to leverage that technology into improved services for customers in the post-pandemic world with a focus on business. It's called USPS Connect, a new suite of services with an emphasis on next-day delivery and returns. Business clients can pick between local, regional, or national service. Using an improved click and ship app, those businesses can print labels, pay postage, and track shipments. There's even expanded tracking features for end-to-end tracing, meaning customers can see exactly where in the U.S. their packages are and when they should expect to get them. The Postal Service is hoping it's a big step forward for businesses looking to expand their e-commerce and for the Postal Service itself as it competes more with private carriers like UPS and FedEx. The program is being rolled out right now in test markets in Texas and Florida, but there are plans to expand it to more than 3,000 markets by the end of September. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Coming up, going to hear from LL Cool J about some new music and his inspiration on future artists. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee LL Cool J took center stage at Fox's iHeartRadio Music Awards, and the music legend has a lot of big plans for the year ahead. We spoke to him about his new music in store, career milestones, and how much he loves inspiring new artists. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Hip-hop icon LL Cool J hosted this year's iHeartRadio Music Awards and appreciates how the cross-generational show spotlights new artists.
You've opened so many doors for other people and their careers. So what do you love about that part about it?
Well, I love to see people succeed. I love to see people's dreams come true. You have so many young music artists who sometimes the world can make you think that things are impossible, but they're not. It is possible to take it to the next level. It is possible for you to take your life to beyond anything you ever imagined or your wildest dreams. You just have to stick to it, and a lot of the people that are going to perform here and just be present here and are nominated are proof of that.
As the awards celebrate radio play, he shared a big radio milestone in his career.
When I heard, my first song, I was standing up in a game room on Farmers Boulevard in Queens, New York, and it had rained the night before, early in the day, so the street was real shiny. It was nighttime, and DJ Red Alert, he played, my song, I Need a Beat. And I remember just standing out looking at the street with the moon glowing on the street, and somebody came up to me in my ear and was like, yo, man, that's you on the radio. And I just remember saying, yeah, I like that, I like that, I like that. So that was an amazing moment, but there was so many.
Up next, the superstar has new music on the way.
Yeah, I'm working on a record. I'm almost done with it. Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest, executive producing the album, and that'll be coming this year.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with video of baby cheetahs at the San Diego Zoo. An impressive zoo. I had the opportunity to visit once. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.